The race to the title continues at full speed. Maccabi Electra Tel Aviv, supported by an entire nation, continues their fantastic season on all fronts. Israeli Yellow Nation begins now.
Shalom and welcome to Israeli Yellow Nation, the show that brings you Maccabi Electra Tel Aviv, the basketball team that is an inseparable part of the story of the state of Israel. So many great players and unforgettable games in this arena. So many titles and cups have been raised in this arena that on any given night is raging non-stop. Today, I'll show you the magical corners of Nokia Arena, and tonight on Israeli Yellow Nation.
Tal Brody, the story of the Jewish college star who gave up a career in the NBA to bring professional basketball to the Holy Land. The children of northern Israel live with the daily threat of rocket attacks. Maccabi stars visited them and put a smile on their faces. We'll celebrate Shabbat with American power forward Alex Tyus, who converted to Judaism. And of course, all the recaps and updates from Maccabi Electra Tel Aviv's EuroLeague season.
Tal Brody, Maccabi Tel Aviv superstar of the 60s and 70s, is one of the greatest symbols of Maccabi and of the entire country. This great star of the University of Illinois, who gave up a career in the NBA in order to realize a Zionist dream, transformed Maccabi into one of the greatest teams in Europe.
Here you have a team in Israel that's your team. It's part of your history, it's part of your culture, it's part of your religion. It's not only a team of Israel, it's a team of the Yellow Nation.
People knew that Tal Brody, the great Illini basketball player, could have been an NBA star and instead was being a star for Israel in international and European competitions. And it was a great story. People followed it.
I was born in Trenton, New Jersey, in the United States, and I was very lucky in my neighborhood. Going through elementary school, there was a lot of basketball courts. We had a lot of basketball players available even at age 7, 8 years old when I started to play. And as long as we studied, we were able to play basketball. So we kept with the books and we kept with the basketball. When I went up to junior high school, we had a good team. We played in the City League. In Trenton Central High, they took the best players of all the junior high school teams. And our team was good, and we went on to win the New Jersey State Basketball Championships, 24-0. We didn't lose a game. And I think even after 50 years, nobody has beaten that record. I chose the University of Illinois. I went up and started with 4 seniors on that team, and we were one of the best teams in the nation. We were number 3 in the nation. We won the Big Ten championship.
Let's hear it one more time for the 1963 Big Ten championship team and for all-time great Tal Brody.
He was an All-American basketball player. The teams beat some of the best teams in the country. They were the Big Ten champions. And so Tal Brody was always a basketball legend for any young Fighting Illini basketball fan in those days.
Being selected by Sporting News as one of the 10 best players in the United States, and to be in the company of players like Bill Bradley, Billy Cunningham, Rick Barry, Jerry Sloan. But it was a great honor then to be chosen the 13th in the draft of 1965. My personal desire to play NBA ball, everything was in front of me. All of a sudden I get this letter from the Maccabean committee that they invite me to join the United States team to the 7th Maccabi Games in Israel. So when I went to Israel, everything changed. All my goals in life when Maccabi Tel Aviv. I think I'm going to play 1 year in Israel, see if I could take this team to another level.
קבוצת מכבי תל אביב הביסה את הפועל חולון בתוצאה 94-55, כשבשורותיה מופיע לראשונה שחקן הרכש החדש האמריקני טל ברודי.
The first practice I had at Maccabi, it was difficult to adjust because I would go back on defense, and all of a sudden as I would go back on defense, I would wind up sitting in the bleachers. The balatot, the marble court, outdoors, small, because the court was kind of crooked. It wasn't like, like this. It sort of went, like something like that. So you're coming back, and then all of a sudden you go out of the court. I came to Maccabi, and I asked, why is everybody in yellow? In order to identify with all the Jews that were killed in Europe, all the Jews that had to wear the yellow star during that period of day, that their memory is not forgotten. Their memory is going forward with every success of Maccabi Tel Aviv. As the season started and we got past the first round, our team started to roll. So after that first fabulous year, which basketball was revolutionized in Israel, I saw the spirit, I saw what was happening to the country, and then I said, well, you know what, I'm going to come back for a second year. David against Goliath. The big bear of Russia against Israel. Up to 1977, the Russians refused to play in the European Basketball Championships because they didn't want to come up against Israel. The Russians that year, they decided they're going to play in the European Championships. And they had a great team. They beat Real Madrid. Everybody knew that they were picked to take the European Basketball Championships. Now the Russians made a mistake, that the government didn't let them come to Israel. And they didn't let us come to Moscow to play them. But they chose a very small town, Virton in Belgium, and a very small court. They didn't realize that every Israeli that could find it, every Jewish person in Europe and the States that could find this place, Virton, won't miss this game. When we lined up and we walked into the gymnasium, they knew that they're going to lose the game. The spirit was amazing. Israeli flags, singing, Chavenu Shalom Aleichem, Am Yisrael Chai. The spirit that was there took us forward. We won 91-79. And as that game finished, the crowd just poured onto the floor, raised up the players on their arms. As I was going afterwards to the locker room, Alex Gilady puts that microphone in my face and he says, Tal, what do you think of this game? And that's when I said that we are on the map, we're staying on the map, not only in sport, but in everything. And when we came back to Israel, and over 150,000 people that were waiting for us in the town square, just to celebrate that victory. I knew that I made the right decision in making that decision of taking a year out of my life, which already turned to 47 years, which I would never regret. Going around and seeing the crowd and the spirit. It was heavy. It was 2 pieces, that trophy. I almost dropped it because I didn't realize it was in 2 pieces, but it was like picking up the country and taking your country from your shoulders and putting it into that cup and raising it. Amazing feeling, beautiful feeling.
בטל ברודי, רבותיי, מתגלם רעיון המכבייה.
This place gives me a lot of beautiful memories. How this stadium was an open-air stadium, 5,000 people a game. And the excitement in this place, the music, the spirit, the sound, it's amazing. You have it in many places in the world, but in Tel Aviv, it's really something special.
When we return, Maccabi Electra Tel Aviv sets out to gladden the hearts of the children of northern Israel.
Ever since the founding of the State of Israel, its northern border has been subject to rocket attacks from Lebanon. The ones who suffer the most are the children of the border city of Kiryat Shmona, who personally experienced the reality of air raid sirens and bomb shelters. Maccabi Electra Tel Aviv took the time out from basketball to meet those children and show their support.
Since the founding of the state, Israel's northern border has been subjected to repeated attacks by terrorist groups in Lebanon. Most of the attacks have happened in Israel's northernmost city, Kiryat Shmona, and those who suffer the most are the city's children. Maccabi Electra Tel Aviv came to the city to meet them.
I lived in this area for 6 years. I actually lived in a moshav about 5 kilometers from the border of Lebanon. It was a very, very difficult time. Many instances of Katyusha rockets falling in the community of Kiryat Shmona. I remember the strength of the people and the determination of the people not to change their way of life.
It brings us a lot of happiness to host Maccabi Tel Aviv. It is very important for the daily routine. Despite living in the far north, we do our utmost to invest in education and sports.
ובספורט בפרט. ואיך מנצחים את מכבי תל אביב? באגרסיביות. אתם הולכים להוריד אותם לרצפה. חבר'ה, ותראו להם מה זה מחלקת הנוער של קריית שמונה. על החיות!
Maccabi Electra Tel Aviv's starting point guard Yogeva Chayon is, without doubt, the main attraction for the kids. Ochayon, who started his pro career with the local club, can't hide his excitement over the meeting.
To meet all my friends that I grew up with them, and especially the kids, they were so exciting. So it's feeling good that you're playing for them and they give you respect and love.
You see the smile on these kids' faces. They've been waiting for so long to see us, and now we're here, and it's just a great thing.
It feels great. I mean, anytime you can come and shed some light and have some fun with these kids, it feels great.
It was significant for me and for everyone in understanding how important this area is to the country of Israel.
The EuroLeague has reached the deciding stage when the top 16 teams compete for the big prize, the EuroLeague Championship. Having won that title 5 times already, Maccabi Electra Tel Aviv is in a hot pursuit of yet another trophy.
After finishing the regular season at the top of their group, Maccabi Electra Tel Aviv is in great shape, moving into the top 16 against the best teams on the continent. The second round began with a tough road game against Galatasaray from Turkey and former Maccabi player Carlos Arroyo. The Puerto Rican point guard, who spent 6 seasons in the NBA, opened strong, keeping his team in the lead for 3 quarters. But the fourth quarter belonged to Maccabi's combo guards Yogeva Chayon and Ricky Hickman, with some great moves and plays that led the team to a key victory in a hostile environment. The Russian team Lokomotiv Kuban, who Maccabi has already beaten twice this season, came to Nokia Arena and met Sofo. Maccabi's Greek center, who wasn't even supposed to play due to an ankle injury, surprised everyone by starting the game a la Willis Reed.
Sophocles shoots and eats his 2 points. 10 from 11, and he's got another bonus to come.
Showing superhuman strength and scoring Maccabi's first 12 points of the game. The frustrated Russians didn't know what hit them, and in the second half, Sofo did whatever he wanted, finishing with a game-high 22 points and leading Maccabi to another victory. Next, Maccabi flew to Lithuania for a challenging game against Žalgiris Kaunas, whose excellent guard Justin Dentman was in the zone, scoring 21 points and giving his team a promising lead. Maccabi came back, led by their rising star point guard Tyrese Rice.
It's around it, Rice, and one! Well, Tyrese Rice didn't need the screen to shimmy free.
Scoring 20 points and showing amazing moves in his best game so far with the team, gave Maccabi their third straight victory in the top 16. The following week, Partizan Belgrade got a warm welcome from the Yellow Army at Nokia, as Maccabi blasted the Serbians in a memorable first half. Ironclad defense led to easy fast break points, breaking the visitors' spirits. At the half, Maccabi led 47-19. Partizan never recovered, and Maccabi remained undefeated. The stage was set for the clash of the Titans, as Maccabi traveled to Spain to face the best team in Europe and the #1 contender for the title, Real Madrid. The game lived up to its hype. Maccabi's Israeli captain Guy Pnini was on fire, scoring 5 for 5 from downtown as he kept the game close until the final minutes, when Sergio Yul sank 2 triples to give the Spaniards the victory. CSKA Moscow, Maccabi Electra Tel Aviv, and Real Madrid each have 4 wins and 1 loss in Group F. The top 4 teams will advance to the next round, the Elite 8. Maccabi has gotten off to an excellent start in the top 16, as the amazing journey for the title continues. Coming up next on Israeli Yellow Nation, Alex Tyus invites us to celebrate Shabbat.
Alex Tyus, Maccabi Electra Tel Aviv's power forward, is known on the court for his remarkable jumping ability that enables him to touch the sky. Off the court, Tyus, who discovered Judaism at the University of Florida, converted in 2011, and by doing so, found another way to touch the sky.
Malachem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, kadosh baruch hu.
Hello, I'm Alex Tyus, power forward from Maccabi Electra Tel Aviv, and I'm going to show you how to touch the sky. When I first started playing organized basketball on a team was when I was 8 or 9 years old, and I think my height kind of helped me determine that basketball was a sport I wanted to focus on more. The University of Florida was one of the schools that I really wanted to go to.
You just got into the university, you've been there for a few days, and his teammates took him out, my teammates went out, and that's where the first time we met. University of Florida has a very large Jewish population, and like my roommates were Jewish. I went to Passover with them.
She told me that she was thinking about converting.
I was nervous to talk to Alex about it.
So we weren't, married. I think she was a little nervous about asking me.
And then when I told him, I was like regretted that I hadn't asked him or talked to him about it earlier, because he was like all for it. I told him I wanted to raise my kids Jewish. He wanted to as well. And one of the big reasons we came to Israel is his agent, Happy Walters. You guys are Jewish now, like you have to live in Israel.
Hi.
How are you?
Welcome. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Hey,
shalom.
good to see
How you
you.
doing?
Hey, Shabbat shalom.
Thanks.
Here you go.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. You're welcome. Shabbat shalom. Good seeing you.
So Alex, do you guys remember the first time that we met you, that you joined us?
Well, my rabbi in the States, he told us about the family here in Ashkelon. And
Said, my name is Allison. My husband and I are moving to Israel in a few months. Can you help us? And she was like, can we pick you up at the airport?
I spoke to Allie and invited them for a Friday night dinner, and they met our family, and ever since then we fell in love with them, and they come all the time.
The chemistry was there, it clicked. We're just people, we're regular people here. We have experiences here together as a family, as Jewish people, with Jewish traditions.
ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה ורצון התחלתנו.
In the beginning, we didn't know. Do you remember I was like, I can't wait till we know all the songs like everyone else, because it was just like, it was awkward.
And there was a time when they sat at this table and they weren't necessarily singing on a Friday night because they didn't feel comfortable doing it. And if you saw them this evening, they were, because they've reached a point where now and it wasn't by us sitting there and knocking it into their heads, it was just by letting them gradually assimilate the knowledge.
Beforehand, I didn't watch the basketball games on TV. Now I put it on the Maccabi to see Alex play. My youngest son and my oldest son, my son-in-law, everyone's now Maccabi fans, and we love to see when he jumps up and dunks the ball in.
Tyus for the alley-oop and lays it up and in.
When I first came, I got a huge welcoming from Gate 11. The fans, they were crazy. It's amazing. Adrenaline rush. Usually when you first get out there, the first 2 or 3 minutes when you're playing, you're gassed, tired because you're so hyped up. They really help us out a lot. They're like the sixth man, definitely the best crowd in Europe.
Playing with Tyus.
And I always, want to try to dunk on somebody, so it feels great. Because it's really big for our crowd, especially if it's a home game, and my teammates, they get all into it, they get excited. And it always gives us an extra boost and a big run. Becoming Israeli, playing for the national team, a big honor. And it's just something that I'm very thankful for, and I'll always remember and always keep to my heart.
We're so proud, just like we're proud to be American, we're so proud to be Israeli. I feel like we've been Jewish our whole lives, even though it happened late, Like this is supposed to happen, it's supposed to be what we're doing.
I want him.
Can you see him?
Look!
Oh yeah, now I see him. Isn't there another dog in there too or something?
No.
What's the doll?
The
Stuffed animal.
The stuffed animals.
I don't know, it was like as if we always knew them. We're just one of those families that kind of adopted us immediately.
He's another son and part of the family, and do worry about him, make sure he's okay. He's really down to earth. He's very caring. It's a pleasure to have him part of the family.
Marty, he thinks of me as a son, and I really appreciate that. Having family away from home and people who you can be around with outside of basketball, definitely, is a great feeling.
This month's top 5 plays feature the acrobatics of Alex Tyus. Number 5. Yogeva Chayon cuts to the basket, then follows with a great assist to Alex Tyus, who finishes hard. The Turkish defense is still wondering what happened. Number 4. Tyus shows that agility and ball handling are part of his repertoire. He really can touch the sky. Number 3.
Tyus for the alley-oop and lays it up and in.
Guy Pnini Maccabi Electra Tel Aviv's all-purpose forward feeds Tyus a perfect alley-oop. Maccabi's offense is working to perfection, and the crowd reacts. Number 2.
Hickman, who's been real pulling every straight. Great pass, Tyus! What a play! Maccabi Tel Aviv have come up with a dribble weave.
A pick and roll as it's meant to be between Ricky Hickman and Alex Tyus ends in a monster slam in the Turks' faces. And the number 1 play of the month.
Hickman out top, playing with Tyus.
Another classic pick and roll with Hickman's flawless pass to Tyus, launching the big man into space for the in-your-face jam, the human springboks, at its best.
That's it for the second episode of Israel Yellow Nation. For more information about the team, visit Maccabi Electra Tel Aviv's website. You can watch all the segments of this show and more on the team's YouTube channel. We hope you've enjoyed the show. See you next time, and shalom from Israel.